today is going to be conference table bases. So, as you saw yesterday, you have until the 24th to complete all your classes if you want to get the prize at the end. The videos are all up on YouTube, and kind of keep me posted if they're good or bad, or if you have issues with them. I'd like to know. I know the ones on the J Drive are not good, so do not watch the ones on the J Drive. That's a big thing.
Her kids.
So let's get started then. I have everything. Everybody has the same packet in their hand that I'm going to show on this screen. So it's only about table bases today. So the first table base we're going to talk about is a slab base. And a slab base is one of our most popular common bases. Basically what it is, in this case, it can be multiple slabs depending on the width of the table. So in this case, we have 3 slabs. And then across the top, we have pieces that are called spanners. And they're about 6 inches apart by about 6 inches high. And they're basically there to keep the table structural and to also prevent it from bowing. So please.
And it works also as a wire manager.
Yes, and you can hide your cords up in there too. So it is the most cost-effective option. We don't like, with slabs, the minimum depth we go is 48. When you go below a 48 depth, the slabs get really, to stay structural, if you make it below a 24-inch wide slab, they're just going to fall over. And you might be better at explaining this. If you were to have a 12-inch wide slab on a 36-inch top, it would just tip over.
Right. It's like having 2 posts on a table. One each end, once you touch it, it's gonna split.
So that's why in cases anything 48 or above, you can do a slab. Anything 47 or below, you want to do a metal T-base or a metal option, or one of the many options that we offer. Of course, with this one, if you do decide to do electrical underneath the table, you're going to see all those cords underneath. You can get different wire management pieces from one of our vendors, like a Workrite or any of the ergonomic vendors, but they will be visible, and it won't be as pretty as, say, a cube base. On the standard overhang on each end, so this end and this end, that's 18 inches. And then on the sides, it's anywhere between 12 to 15. A very important thing, you don't want your client, all of our product is extremely heavy. So you can't just slide an ROI conference table across the floor, especially carpet. If you slide a slab base, it will break, it will collapse. So these tables do have to be lifted in order to be moved.
That makes sense, right?
Okay, now let's go to the next one, cube bases. So cube bases, again, you have a lot of different options with how you can place your cube bases. You could have 3 cube bases at a table, you could have 2 cube bases at a table, you could have 1 cube base at a table. In this case, I put 1 cube base in the center. And that cube base is basically covering the floor core that's in there. And the floor core is where all the electrical is coming up through the table. And then again, we have the spanners that's preventing the bowing and the wire management. And then we've added 2 slabs. So a cube base, the main reason for a cube base is for the electrical reason. You have an access door. You want at least, or 1 per table. You want it to be where the electrical is located. You can have 2 if there's multiple electrical locations, but we like to just keep it to where the electrical is located. If the floor core is existing, it's very important that the sales rep measures the exact location of the floor core, including the face plate. If we don't get the face plate, then we might not be covering the whole unit, so that's important to get.
Because there are some plates that are just this big, but there are some others that are like, I'm not exaggerating, it's like this big.
And our cube bases fluctuate in size, so we kind of base a cube base, based on the top size. If we're doing a whole new build out and we're providing the floor core location, that is the responsibility of the designer. So just let your designer know, hey, we need to mark the floor core. They'll do it, and it's typically, like if this was a room, like a square room, they take it from this wall to this wall, and this wall to this wall, and it's typically in the center of the cube base. And again, it's the same standard overhang, 18 on each side and 12 inches on both sides. Anything else? Good, bad, love, hate?
It's all up.
All Okay, so for those cases where your table then is less than 47 inches deep, this is when the metal T-bases come into play. So in this case, we have 2 metal T-bases, and then for tables that are 84 inches or longer, we install 2 metal anti-sag rails. And this is what a metal anti-sag rail is. They kind of they go right underneath, you can't even see them. Tables 96 or larger, it is recommended that you put 3 table bases in. I know that we've had cases where we've been asked not to, but keep in mind, if it does bow, that is the client's responsibility to remake the table and cover the cost of that.
And it will wobble for sure. Even if you don't put any weight on it, just the weight of the table itself will make the bow.
And you should probably let them, once it bows, there's really no recovering from the bow. It's a new top. There's no
If you
straight
want to
table.
add a one of those bars after it's bow, you have 50-50 chances they will come back because the damage is already on and it's just too much to pull from. So that's why we have to do it on the beginning.
The most common places we get our metal bases from are Gibraltar, Mod Silver, and Enwork. So all of these catalogs are online. They're in our J Drive under cut sheets. So if you ever need to reference these, they have so many options to choose from. You know, you see the typical ones, but if you're ever looking for something unique or something a little more decorative, go through those catalogs because you'll find some with little arcs, just little details, just to dress them up a little bit. Okay, the next is an X base. So this is just very similar to the T base. It's just a metal X base. It's seen mostly on a round table. So you can see here this little guy. He double sticks onto the side of an X base. But he is plastic, so just keep that in mind when you're using him.
So only X bases or T bases?
T bases, anything that has this round look to it, you can attach it to. And then after X bases, we have the wall mounted table. So you guys have been seeing these a lot more. I think we're putting one in every job we do. Up against this wall, this back is completely open. So you want to give the electrical source, you want it to be right back here. So then when they use the access door in the front, you can just open the door and plug right in. You have the spanner rail, and then in this case, with bullet tops, we like this to be a disc base. We've ran into problems in the past with leaving this just as a post base, and the stability of the table just isn't, we've had to go out and fix it, and we've replaced them with disc bases. So just kind of remember to use the disc base in these cases.
Sometimes when you do a wall mount, if you only use a post, it's stronger as opposed to just leave it freestanding. But even though it's still wobbly on the front, if you do the disc base, all of that goes away.
Next, drum bases. So the most important thing about a drum base, it's only ROI Elite. You cannot do anything that curves in Catapult series. So we also do half moon bases, which you'll see in our conference room. Those are half moon bases. You have the option for this pop-off panel. It can't be a door because we don't do radius doors. But this is like a pop-off panel that you can just pull off and then get inside to reach the electrical if you need it. Keep in mind with tables with drum bases, you are going to hit your knee. It's just more of a common, it's just so predominant over the table to keep it structural. It's not our most common. I try to avoid it at most costs.
And even if you weight it, if you put weight on the inside, now you're covering the cord, so you have no access to the electrical. And they're just problematic. So if you can stay away from it, better.
Before we go into connector, I do want to touch base just on, we do have some trapezoid bases here at ROI. For those are kind of going to be handled on a per job basis because it all depends on the electrical, the height. There are many variations for that. So that's just going to be something we handle on a per job basis as it comes in until we get those more perfected. The last thing I want to talk about is Connect Track. So I'm not sure if you guys have checked it out, but in the Turf showroom, we have installed a new Connect Track piece. It looks great. What I do love about it is that typically before we had to cut little mouse holes in these, but these go completely under the leveler and under the credenza. So you can see the electrical source was here.
The only downside of that is that The carpet needs to be cut. So the way to do it is, it's got the track and the cover part. You lay the track on the ground, you mark it, cut the carpet, then you attach that to the concrete tray. Now that piece is fairly even with the carpet, and then you put the cover on. That's one option, and that's the better looking option. But if they ever move, then they're missing a piece of carpet. The other option is just to do it on top of the carpet, and that's where you need a little cutout, or to raise the glide a little bit higher so that truck can go underneath.
Now, in our case, like, who recommends cutting the carpet?
Whoever installed the track has to cut.
Has to cut the carpet. So
Correct.
we'll install the track and we'll cut the carpet.
Yep.
And then I'm going to show you some videos.
You're always better to cut the carpet, so you know, because you're gonna have a trip hazard. It really looks bad if you don't cut the carpet. It's really more recommended to
Most
definitely cut
carpet
the
is carpet
carpet.
tile anyways,
Yeah.
they should have extra.
And then they can.
As long as we communicate with the customer, and we don't have to come back and replace the carpet because we didn't communicate, then it's all good.
It's all about communication.
So if you do need to request, I went ahead and put the contact information for requesting a quote in here from Connect Track. And then if you get the opportunity, I just happened to go online, and they have under resources videos. They have some great videos to watch that show all their product that I think are great even to show clients. Like this, I didn't know they had this little Go Wire piece, which is nice for little huddle areas. You just bring this piece in and.
Introducing Connect Track Go.
But I just thought they were really simple and easy to follow. So if you ever need to, if you're having a hard time selling it to the client, they can watch these.
Using that one, it'll save you some duct tape.
I thought so too. And it looks nice. So if you go through all of them, they are actually really. They have some really handy ones. Like. So does anybody have any questions? Concerns, comments?